A shift in setting can subtly reshape the perception of a collection. For Fall/Winter 2026 to 2027, Mark Thomas moved Carven away from the intimate rooms of its headquarters on the Rond-Point des Champs-Élysées, the historic residence and studio of founder Marie-Louise Carven, and into the sunlit halls of the Conservatoire National des Arts at Métiers. The venue's former textile room, with its weathered walls and generous natural light, provided a fittingly expansive stage for Thomas's sophomore runway outing, signaling a quiet step forward in the house's ongoing recalibration. Presented along a straightforward runway, the collection unfolded with a sense of clarity and composure. Thomas has already demonstrated a sharp instinct for the Carven woman, urbane, self-assured, and attentive to nuance rather than spectacle, and this season refined that vision further. Tailoring was generous without feeling heavy. Coats and jackets carried softened shoulders and gently rounded volumes, hovering somewhere between cocooning outerwear and sculptural couture construction. The rhythm of the show moved between structured silhouettes and more fluid layers. Monochromatic ensembles appeared in tones of wine and deep chocolate, while combinations of black and ecru introduced graphic contrast. Gauzy organza slips embedded with lace floated beneath tailored pieces, creating a dialogue between transparency and weight. Elsewhere, tiered skirts built from tufted filcu introduced tactile density, set against the smoother surfaces of satin and leather that anchored the collection with polish. Thomas's touch, however, is rarely purely pragmatic. Small decorative gestures punctuated the garments with a sense of wit. Fringed gloves swayed gently from cuffs, adding a kinetic accent to otherwise composed looks. Panels described by the designer as mille-feuille paper-thin layers stacked horizontally gave skirts and dresses a lateral movement that rippled subtly as the models walked. Accessories carried the same playful restraint. Footwear included furry lace-ups and loafer mules rendered in pastel satin, a quiet twist on familiar forms. Hand-beaded necklaces clustered like glass buds around the neckline, delicate yet intentionally visible. Thomas himself remarked that the woman he imagines dressing's okay to be noticed, a sentiment that resonated through these carefully placed details. While fringe has become a recurring motif across the season's collections, Carven approached it with measured conviction rather than theatrical exaggeration. The shaggy textures felt tactile and believable, particularly when paired with blanket coats whose enveloping proportions suggested an easy transition from domestic comfort to the outside world. Moments of quiet utility also emerged. Tank dresses and pragmatic outerwear hinted at a modern wardrobe logic, recalling a certain understated cinematic style often associated with Ali Magre's character in the 1970 film Love Story. The reference was subtle but apt, reinforcing Thomas's interest in clothing that feels lived in rather than staged. The collection conveyed a designer settling more confidently into his role. The silhouettes remained approachable, the embellishments controlled, and the styling coherent. If the lineup did not radically expand the Carven vocabulary, it nonetheless strengthened its foundations. Thomas's proposition clothes that are intentionally dressed up yet still carry a sense of ease and pleasure felt convincing and increasingly distinct within the Paris landscape.